You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Hell's Kitchen After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Hell's Kitchen After Show.
Ben, what are you doing? Hit it up. Come on. There it is. The world's #1 Hell's Kitchen show. This is the after show. Welcome. Wherever you're watching in the world, thank you. All right. Thank you, Ben, on that. We're so stoked that you are listening to our podcast on iTunes in so many different countries. It means a lot to us. All the Hell's Kitchen fans are sending the links to their friends, and we appreciate the great reviews in iTunes. You, me, Hell's Kitchen, this is what we do. This is where we get together and talk about Hell's Kitchen. And why is it official? Why is it the best? Well, we garner the best guests for you. So what are we talking about today? Hell's Kitchen, Season 12. 6 chefs competing. What are the headlines? I'll give you a few. Jason offers to sleep with the final 4 contestants. Oh my God. 6 chefs go to college. The first Black Jacket Challenge. Scott Cummings, in the middle of service, gets in the face of Gordon Ramsay. And sadly, Keisha gets kicked out of Hell's Kitchen. There's a lot to go over, so let's start right now. 12 seasons of Hell's Kitchen. So that means there have been 11 before. And of those 11 seasons, of all those 20 chefs competing, there's only 11 people, 11 champions. 11 people in the entire earth of billions of people have won Hell's Kitchen. And that's why this is so huge for us. To get the insight, to get the proper knowledge, to pick the right brain, you have to go to the right source. And we are so pleased and proud to have on the show the Hell's Kitchen After Show right now. Season 3's champion of Hell's Kitchen, the one and only Rock Harper. Rock, thank you so much for being with us, buddy.
Wow, man, that's great. I'm going to have to record that and loop it on my resume. That was awesome. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you having me. Are you kidding me? I've been watching every single season of Hell's Kitchen. Did you watch the first season of Hell's Kitchen, Rock? I did a long time ago. My man Michael, he inspired me to get on the show, and the runner-up, my man out in Florida. I forget his name right now. Oh, my gosh. Well, let's go back just a little bit, because we are going to recap this episode scene by scene. When you watch Hell's Kitchen on TV now, does it jar your memory, or are you just locked into Season 12? Oh, I love it. I mean, it jars my memory. I think about things that I would do. I think about things that I wouldn't do, but it brings back great memories, and it's just an awesome time watching it. So I enjoy it for the most part. Well, and then, let's go back 2 episodes. You got to come back. What's it like coming back to Hell's Kitchen? You know, you're the champion. You're the Season 3. You'll always be Season 3 champ. What's it like returning? You know, I'm grateful for the opportunity, because everyone doesn't come back, and Hell's Kitchen has me back quite often. I've only missed a couple of seasons where they haven't had me back or haven't come out to me. It's fun. I mean, it's, you get to, it's one of the hottest tickets in TV and in town. So it's fun for me to get to eat there, to get to meet the contestants. Really, my goal getting back is, how can I offer some, no matter what, I don't want to beat them up too much, because I empathize with their position, because I was there. But I want to, I want to offer some encouragement, and I want to meet the next champion, or even, they all winners to me. But I love going back. It's a great experience for me. That's all gravy. That's all lovely. But Rock, I want you to take me back to your most humiliating moment in the competition? Do you remember a low point or a time where you just lost it? I know there's one place where you lost it with the Lobster Challenge, but in your mind...
Oh, that was it. That was it. That was it. It was the Lobster. I mean, you know, my students, I teach culinary arts now. My students, you know, play with me, and they make fun of me. They pull it up on YouTube when I'm out of the classroom. It was the Lobster. I mean, you know, going back, Chef Ramsay pulled me aside. You know, it didn't make the cut, the camera. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it, but he had some good words for me about my passion. And, I mean, I lost it. I hate losing, and you know, I still think we lost because he's not going to take a photo shoot on Us magazine with 4 guys. You know, the ladies win that shoot, hands down every time. So I lost to the Lobster Soup, and that was sort of my moment in time. And, you know, looking back on it, it was fun TV, but emotionally I should have had better control and you know, taking that loss. Like, it was a great lesson for me, but I don't regret it. But if I could do it all over again, I probably wouldn't do that part. So that was my low point. But it wasn't in the service. It was in the confessional, you know, the interview room.
You can get lobster bisque at Corner Bakery.
Oh my goodness! Oh, you went to the line on me, man. You remember that? Yes, Corner Bakery. Oh, I was pissed. I was pissed off. I mean, my dish, I fried like who does? I'm a guy from the South. You know, I fried lobster tail. I fried it. I threw it in the freaking deep fryer.
And that rosemary stock was right there. And that rosemary stock was right there. Right?
And they made lobster soup. See, now you got me heated again. You know, we did all of that, now, and she made a freaking crab and lobster bisque. I mean, it wasn't that good.
Well, okay, let's go back to season 3 and your greatest moment as far as a reward, winning a challenge. What was the ultimate, Rock?
Oh, for me, it was walking through that door, baby. Nothing beat that. I mean, that was the awesome. That was my goal. And when I walked through that door, I know that's probably, you know, cliche, but
no.
I mean, within the challenge, you know, I had a lot of fun paintballing. It was great to get a massage. I had you know, acupuncture. That was good because we really needed that. But I tell you this, I actually enjoyed losing because while everybody else was having fun, even though they thought they were picking Chef Ramsay's brain, we were getting better. I was getting better, I should say, at prepping and staying on my feet, and it only helped me. So I didn't really, you know, I don't like losing, but I enjoyed the extra prep time in the kitchen.
Wow. Well, we're talking about 2007, and maybe even you were filming in 2006. I like to ask this because everyone has a different answer, the contestants. What is the sequestration like when you can't talk to your family, you're stuck inside Hell's Kitchen, there's no communication? What was that experience like for you, Rock?
You know, it's different, but I actually enjoy it. When I immerse myself in something, and I don't know if I know this before Hell's Kitchen, but I know it now. You know, distractions are among us. We have, you know, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and iPads and iPods and all this other stuff. When you don't have that, and you don't even have, when you have nothing but your craft to focus on, this is what the great artists have done. It made me focus on nothing but the competition. And so at first I didn't know it was going to be like that, and other cooking reality shows are not like that. These guys have computers and internet and all that jazz, and that's okay, that's fine. But for Hell's Kitchen, for me, it actually helped me because I had nothing else but to kick, you know, all those other contestants' ass. I had nothing else but to focus on them. So it was great for me, but a lot of other people, as you can see, it really breaks you down because they're used to going to the gym on Wednesday, or they're used to, you know, speaking with their girlfriends on Tuesday. And I was cool with cutting the world off.
What's it like when you're in the heat of battle of Hell's Kitchen, dinner service, and you have a lot on your mind, obviously, but then there's Gordon Ramsay. Then he's got the ticket in his hand, and he calls out a six-top, and he's talking so damn fast. How did you handle that, Rock?
Well, Gordon is the ultimate teacher. I mean, we only spend a short amount of time. It draws out on TV, but it's a very short amount of time. And you have to learn. And he'll give you pieces sort of, a day in advance, but you have to pick up on the subtle pieces because by the time he tells you, it's too late. Or the lesson is already, he wants you to have learned it the day prior. So calling those tickets out in service was one of the hardest things. However, what we learned is that, you don't have to just rely on his verbal call. You can walk up to the pass and take a look at the freaking ticket. He does want an echo back, which, he wants you to repeat back, yes, chef. And when there's the ticket coming, he wants you to communicate. However, whoever's on garnish, if you notice, should be that person walking up and giving out what we call in the restaurant industry all day. So there's almost like a second expediter, if you will, the person that is not chef, but they are the eyes and the ears for everyone else. So if you don't know how many Wellingtons you have, you say, hey, Joy, how many wellies do I have all day? Joy walks up to the pass, counts them, and Gordon doesn't say anything. He might say, get the F out of the way, but he really is, you got to do it quick, and you go back. So it was confusing, but if you figure it out early on enough, it's okay. You work through that part.
What is your philosophy on cooking?
Oh, great. First of all, you got to start with love. Be happy about what you're cooking. Use the best ingredients that your money can buy, and you can't have a bad meal. Good energy and good product and great food. That's it's pretty simple for me.
All right. Let's get into tonight's episode, Rock. One question before we get into tonight's episode. Tell me about the moment when you received your black jacket.
Black jackets for me, I forget, but I always knew. I mean, people called me cocky, and people call me cocky to this day. I always knew, but even when you get, you can say something, and when you get it, it was still sort of surreal. So I was grateful, but until I walked through that door, I wasn't done. So it was good, but it just wasn't. I didn't celebrate too much because I expected to be there. I mean, black jackets was like the next step for me, but it was good because you go into one kitchen, and like I think Rochelle said tonight, there's no hiding. That's the beauty about you make a mistake and you're going home. There's no hiding because there's nowhere else. There's no other team to lose and save you. It's all on you. So whoever does the worst goes home.
What did you think about the USC tailgating first Blacket challenge? They're getting pretty creative, aren't they?
Man, they're running out of options maybe, or I don't know. Hopefully they come to like D.C. one time and cook on the White House lawn. I was, because, I love USC. I mean, the Trojans, I thought that was great. I was hopefully, thinking maybe we get some football players out there.
Right.
But I thought it was cool. I was guessing. I thought it was great. I love tailgating. Being a Bears fan myself, and all of the wonderful tailgating that goes on in Chicago. I thought it was an excellent challenge. With the fire that my man Jason was battling with the bacon grease.
Right.
I thought it was a great challenge.
Yeah.
A lot of fun, and I was loving his energy. Yeah. I mean, that's all you got to do. Sometimes just turn up. You got to. You sell a product and people vote for you, and it was evident. I mean, I don't know. His sandwich was bacon. Everybody loves bacon, but
wait, Rock,
creative challenge.
Was he turning it up or was he sucking it up?
He was sucking it. He was turning the suck up. Yeah, he was doing it both, but it worked evidently. Well, something worked. Either the sandwich was great or his salesmanship worked.
Well, millions of us watching Hell's Kitchen, we see the 6 finalists in the tailgate challenge, and then a lot of us think, well, here's what I would have made in that situation. Do you have that? What was your gut telling you to make if you were one of the finalists in that USC challenge?
Well, and I can't reveal too much, but what as a contestant, I don't know if they knew. It seemed the way they showed it, it didn't seem that they knew who they were cooking for. So they had to make a decision right there on the fly. But okay, so I got a pantry. What I'm going to do when I get in is I'm going to make something. And my daughter, an 11-year-old daughter, she's like, what do they like? I'm going to make something that college people like, college, kids, for lack of a better term, like. So something quick. You can't do barbecue because that takes a long time, but fatty, salty. If you can throw some sweetness in there, great. And put it on the freaking bun with butter, maybe some acid to cut through all of that. So if they're bacon, I thought was a great idea. I forget what Scott cooked.
Mahi panini.
Oh, he cooked mahi too?
The mahi panini.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone with that. It must have been really good. I'm not cooked. It is Southern California, so you guys are real health conscious out there. But I'm going fat, salt, and some sweet. I'm hitting the palate hard with like some bacon and some sausages, some big meat, some bold flavors because people love that. It's freaking tailgate. It's it's USC. Maybe everybody was hungover the night before, and you need something to soak that up. So that's where I would go.
So. The winners, Scott and Jason, they get whisked off to Malibu. They go to the Saddle Peak Lodge where they're drinking wine. Did you have an instance at all? I don't know if you drank or whatever, where you were in a situation where the contestants were tipsy from the dorms or either a restaurant, a reward?
Absolutely, every night.
What?
Again, I don't want the producers calling me.
Come on.
They were nice to us, and they provided us with beverages. They stocked our refrigerator. Not like the real world where it was nothing hard because they wanted us to focus on the food. But I learned early on, maybe after the first night, that you had to be up at 5 a.m. sometimes, and you can't get up when you're hungover. And I'm here to win $250,000 and a job, so I don't care about drinking. I'll drink when I win. So I stopped drinking. I mean, I might have a half a glass of wine, maybe a beer, but I never. And the other people, that was more for them. So I used it as a strategy, and they drank up, and there was never any beer or wine left over, and they drank up, and the hungover people ended up getting sent home.
Yeah, it's all part of the outlaying strategy. Very, very good. All right, so let's talk about the Hell's Kitchen dinner service. I love when Gordon says, Jean-Philippe, open up Hell's Kitchen, let's go. So I know, okay. Yeah. So Gordon calls them the Magnificent Six. Talk about Keisha right off the bat with their lobster tails. What was she thinking there, Rock?
Well, Keisha, Keisha's, she was showing me some love last week, so I'm gonna be easy on her. But she was love. My wife was killing me for that. But by the way, I'm gonna get. Today is my anniversary, 16 years of my wonderful wife, Samara. So I know she's listening, and I just want to say I love you and happy anniversary.
Oh, that's don't. You're gonna get to me. You're getting to me, man. That's very sweet.
No, they told me you were emotional. But I don't know. She needs to have a little more emotional control, but that's that passion that Chef Ramsay says he always looks for. He doesn't necessarily look for talent. So if she could have controlled her passion, but off the break, she was rattled, and that's what pressure does. And it was obvious, when she told the young lady, Melanie, to back off. She just wasn't in her head. Use your help.
Right.
Sometimes people order a lot of lobster. He's not going to look bad on you if Melanie takes it to the pass.
Right. Let's move on over to the other side of the kitchen. Scott with his mushy risotto. Was that the right call for him to just say, hey, no, not good. Give me 6 more minutes, chef?
Absolutely, that was the right call. And if you look at the message, that was the absolute right call. Chef Ramsay says this. He says this all the time in his restaurant career and on the show. Trust. He wants people that are going to fight for great food, fight for the guests, fight for their passion. But he has to know. He's the communicator to Jean-Philippe. So he said, why? You don't go silent. You say, Chef, I overcooked it. We overcooked it. It's crappy. I'm not serving it to you. He might curse at you, but he's gonna turn around, and in his heart he's gonna say, good job. You didn't try to lie to me. Trust is extremely important. But you just shut down. So now it seems as if you're trying to hide something. The call to reserve it or to throw it away was the right call. The call to not say anything and then sort of bicker and try to cut it. He was pissed at that point because now you're not saying anything. Now you messed up. So good call, bad call.
All right. When you were in Hell's Kitchen season 3, Did you ever forget the fact that you were surrounded by 75 different cameras everywhere?
I forgot almost every day.
Wow.
And that's the beauty of it. I lost myself, you know. I lost myself in a moment. You know, it's tough. I think that's when you're successful. When you can focus and hone in on your craft. I can only speak for me. There was nothing else. When you start caring about, how is this going to look on TV, or what are they going to edit? You know, we can't control that. It's 40-something minutes and 2 days worth of. I lost myself every single day. You say what you're going to say, and you do what you're going to do, but you focus on that food and getting that man and those guests. As close to perfection in your craft as possible. You can't have anything. That's taking a risk, but indulging in the moment. And so I forgot about the cameras every day. When cameras come out, like when we're on the road, you see people. But Hell's Kitchen does an amazing job of allowing you. They don't get in your way. They really allow you to cook and focused on the competition. So I was able to just forget about it. Just, there's the cameras in the walls, but unless you're looking at them, focus on the food. There's no cutting. There's no stop. Let's do that again during service.
Sure.
It's uninterrupted. It's a restaurant.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the back room. I don't recall. Did Gordon ever pull you back into the back room during service?
No, that would be awkward. I don't even like that. Sounds, awkward. You asking me that, but no, that's new. I've never seen that. And he might pull you to the side a little bit,
right?
And say get it together, but. No, I wasn't that. I wasn't in that position.
What I'm trying to get at is your insight to maybe what happened with Melanie and Keisha when they were pulled in the back and in the middle of service in crunch time, right there when he needed them. He has to fix it. He has to fix it in the middle of service. So I'm sure you got that from Chef.
Well, what he's doing at that point is. He pulled them both back, and he saw the interaction. He saw the lobster thing, and he saw Keisha say no, and Melanie try to help. What I see is that he believes in both of them. He didn't want to make a spectacle of them, so this is him, and he doesn't get enough credit for being because he curses and all that jazz. He's pulling them. Fix the situation. She's trying to help you. He asked Melanie the question, why don't you like her? I think he knew the answer. He doesn't, he's not oblivious. And he has 90 people or 90 cameras watching for him. So he's not oblivious. He knows what's going on. What he's doing is asking questions to see who's able to handle the pressure. Remember, as a chef. So what he's going to do is ask both of them. He asked Keisha and he asked Melanie. Questions, and their responses dictate. It's not all about the chopping block. Their responses dictate who he thinks is ready for the grand prize. That's my take on it. Both of you guys are good. I believe in you. Why are you doing this? Oh, I'm not chef. Why are you doing that? Oh, I'm not chef. So fix it right now. And later on, he sees how your reaction. It's not about the adversity. It's about how you react to it. So that's what I saw right there.
I love that insight, Rock. Okay, last week's guest, Scott Cummings. Now, this guy, I believe, is a cat with 9 lives. What can you comment about him kind of getting back in Gordon's grill over and over? This is becoming a pattern, and I can't decipher it, but I would love to hear your take on the interactions between Gordon and Scott.
I don't know if it's being played up more than it is. What I see. Pressure is a song, as I got a good South Carolina friend. It's a song bitch, and it makes you do certain things that you just say. You feel like you need to talk, and you say the first thing that comes to mind. When he knows he was wrong, and he said that he got confused. Sometimes the best answer is to not say anything, or just to reserve. I think that I actually picked Scott to do really well. I think he just needs to talk a little less because he's extremely talented. And I don't think he's as arrogant as a lot of people that I've seen. So I think sometimes you just don't know. And until you know, again, it's not about, you know, we're all going to make mistakes in Gordon Ramsay's kitchen. It's about how you respond and whether you learn the lessons. So that's what he was saying to him. That's why he brought him forward on the chopping block. Listen, are you still teachable? Because now you're being arrogant to me. So that means that you know it all and you feel like you got to figure it out. And I'm the guy that's been doing this for 30 years. Are you telling me you know it all? And he said the right things to be able to save himself. So I think in that moment, he just was under a lot of pressure, and he didn't know what to say. He was confused, and he wanted to defend himself. Gordon does like to fight back. He's told me that personally. You know, don't cower and say, yes, chef. He'll say, you idiot. Are you an idiot? And you say, yes, chef. And he's like, oh, my God, you just agreed you're an idiot. And he hates that.
Right.
You know, I mean, Josh did that on my season several times. He just, yes, chef, everything. He doesn't like that. If you think something wasn't salty enough, with respect, if you notice, he said that. It's not about you said something. It's what you said. With respect, fight for your passion. Fight for your craft. And take your lumps. He might tell you to F off, but later on he might say, okay, you know, that chef, I can't serve you this risotto. It is not done. I apologize, but I'll get it to you in 6 minutes. He might curse you out for 3 seconds, but inside he's happy because you wouldn't serve him crappy products. So Scott's got to learn that, and we'll see if he does.
He said this, Rock. He said, in the middle of service to Gordon Ramsay. This is not anyone else but Gordon Ramsay. I don't know what you're talking about, chef. With a lot of salt and a lot of English on that saying, he kind of just slung it at him, don't you think?
Yeah, that was dumb. I mean, I think that was pressure. I don't know the guy. I just met him when I was on the show. I think he just didn't know what he was talking about, and he wanted clarity. But in the cook, when you're working with possibly the greatest chef in the world, you just, I don't care if he says sweep the sunlight off the roof, you go and get a broom and you sweep until dusk. And that's, you just got to shut up. So hopefully he learns that, because I like him, but you just don't, if you don't understand it, you try to figure it out in your head, but now's not the time to ask questions. It's undercooked. You shut up and you go back and get him another one.
Right on. Let's move on to the Meathook elimination ceremony, because that's what I call it. Your coat's going to go up on the Meathook. Your coat's intact, Rock. Okay, so Jason, and then they bring up the nominee of Keisha, and then Gordon calls up Scott. And I'm sorry. Have you ever been on the block?
One time.
One time. And was it just?
Yeah, when it was three of us, I want to say.
And do you think it was just, or you think it was politics?
A little bit. I mean, I'm objective. It was because I was brought up there. It was justified. Yeah.
Okay.
No sour grapes out of me.
All right. So, why do you think Chef Ramsay, with your insight, Rock, kept Scott and let Keisha go?
Well, Scott said, one, we all forget, or sometimes people forget, this is about a very intense competition. It's a mini boot camp where he needs to find out who's ready to run this restaurant. I mean, many times in the industry, this takes years before you appoint someone to a restaurant like this, right? Mm-hmm. So he's finding out in a very short amount of time. Two reasons. One, Scott screwed up. He screwed up. I mean, it was evident. He screwed up. He talked back. But the other thing is, Keisha screwed up too. And he's not necessarily looking for talent, because passion always trumps talent. Heart and desire and the will to be a constant student always trumps an arrogant, cook that is full of quote-unquote talent. So, but he had to put people on notice. Just because I think, and he told them, I'll tell everybody, I think you're an extremely talented cook, but I want to let you know, I would chop you down off of that Meathook and send you packing, because it's not just about cooking. So I think he puts you on notice. He wants to know what your response is going to be. If you look at his facial expressions, and that's, to me, that's not cut up, that's not chopped up or edited, as they say. if you give the wrong answer up there and don't fight, and if you start throwing the other person under the bus, if you don't fight for yourself, he will send you home, especially when it's only 6 left. There was nowhere to hide. Mm-hmm. No one else could have gone home tonight except for those 2.
All right. Maybe you know this, because Keisha came unglued in the dorm deliberations just before they got down to the ceremony. Gordon knows everything, right? He knows what's going on, and he knows what's being said in the dorm. Is that not true?
To my knowledge, what it was told to us is that he does not, and I believe that.
Wow.
And I'll tell you why. You know, he says he does not watch in the confessions, and he doesn't watch the dorm room. He doesn't even see our interview. The first time he meets us is when we walk in Hell's Kitchen.
Wow.
And here's the reason why I believe that. Is because that would, what do you call it? That would
taint.
You know, not bias, but it would taint his perception, right? What he wants to judge you on is purely what he sees and how you fight. I strongly believe that. Does he, you know, is there some influence or some, you know, do people give him insight, maybe his sous chefs, or I have no knowledge of that. But I strongly believe that being there, he judges you based upon how you are with him and how you are, in the kitchen and what you say to him. I believe that. I don't think he watches the cameras.
Sure.
I mean, you know, at least the night of. I don't think that.
All right. Well, listen, this is the part of the show where your insight is, you know, $1 million a pound, and we appreciate you being here. This is what we call predictions, where we look ahead and we see what's going to go on. And do we have predictions, Ben? Yeah, there we go. Let's do this. Okay, Rock.
Now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, so now Keisha's gone. So let me rattle off some names for you, Scott. We have Joy, Jason, Melanie, Rochelle, and Scott. Who's looking strong to you? Who do you think is going to go next, in your educated opinion?
Next, first of all, I gotta preface this by I gotta say I've never been right. But I'm always game for this. So next, I see Melanie. I don't see her winning.
Why?
I think she's a fine cook, but I'm going to say Melanie.
Okay. And just give me a reason or two to support that.
From what I see, I mean, she put the flour in the mashed potatoes again.
Oh, that was for you.
Challenge.
That was for you, right?
Yeah.
Oh man,
that was for me.
Yeah.
That was the pesto mashed potatoes. They were. I mean, I think she's a good. You know, pressure made her do that. I think she's a fine cook. They were probably one of the worst things I've tasted ever. And you know, but however, I just don't think. I think she falls under pressure a little bit, and I don't know if she's ready in her career. So I think she's next to go. All
right, 4 left: Joy, Jason, Rochelle, Scott. Who's next?
I got Rochelle going after that.
Rochelle, why?
She seems, again, it's all about pressure, and she seems the next to go. She seems like she's due for a crack. Even though the past couple of weeks, actually, she's been pretty even-keeled. But she seems like she's going to crack under pressure to me. I don't know why.
Well, because you've been there.
There's no method. 3
left. Scott, Jason, Joy. Who's going home?
I said it on Twitter, so I got to stick with it. But Jason, I think Jason's next. He's cool. He might have he drinks too much maybe. He's been there before. He was on another season, I think 9 or something. They brought him back. So I really like him. He's funny as hell. But I don't think he's going to win.
Why?
And in my final 2, I got those 2.
So you got Joy and Scott. Why are they the final 2 in your expert opinion?
Well, Scott seems to be like he's older, right? I was the oldest guy on my season, so I guess I'm biased. But there's something to be said about. 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 There's something to be said about.
We're having a little bit of a technical difficulty. That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So if I've been talking to a replicant or a robot or someone who says that they are Rock,
we're going to try to call him back right
All right, Ben, let's get him back on the air. So while we get Rock's predictions, it's time for me to tell you about Maria Menounos' book, The Every Girl's Guide to Diet and Fitness.
Has been forwarded to an automatic voice
We're going to get him back. Don't worry. We're 100% live, folks. There are no scripts, so we're going to get Rock back. Don't worry about it. He was midstream, and that was the weirdest thing I've ever heard. So this is a great book. It makes a great gift if anybody wants to get in shape. And also, I definitely want to say thanks again for all of the downloads on iTunes. It's screaming across 60 countries, and we appreciate the great reviews. And while I have a minute,
sir.
Yeah, okay. So the weirdest thing, Rock, when you hung up, it kept saying, "This would be you," and she started to cook, and she started to cook. And she started to cook, and she started to cook, and she started to cook, and I'm like, oh my God, I've been talking to a robot this whole time. Where's Rock?
I don't know what happened. It just cut me off.
I know. So again, we're 100% live. You'll see this on the replay and how I try to rebound from it. So
cool.
You got Scott and Joy, and why are they your final two?
Scott, he can cook his ass off. He just got to get his attitude under control. Joy is as cool as the other side of the pillow. I mean, sitting with her, I'm like, does this woman have any emotion? But now I realize her. She's been through a bunch, but that's what you need. You need somebody that's not going to overeat. She has a passion like you wouldn't believe, like does Scott, but she doesn't. She seems to be cool, and in that position, you got to be cool. I got Joy for the win, but it's going to be tough because Scott has been there before. So those are my final two, and that's my final one.
2 episodes back, you kind of got in Joy's face a little bit, said you are cooking with ingredients for us that you've never used before, and you were very skeptical in your tone. Were you not, Rock?
I was. I mean, it's the calendar. I'm on a calendar. I don't want to share it with, it wasn't looking good at that point. So, she surprised the hell out of us, but, it was the calendar.
It was a good dish?
Listen, it wasn't the prettiest, and I think they'll make it prettier. But listen, I have to say listen twice. It was absolutely amazing. It was one of the best dishes I've ever tasted on Hell's Kitchen. I've eaten a lot of food in Hell's Kitchen. Mm-hmm. That was one of the best dishes I've ever tasted. And to come from someone who's never made like 2 or 3 of the ingredients, I mean, it's just phenomenal. It just shows her openness and her, I couldn't believe how great it was.
What month are you? And describe the dish for us, Rock.
I am season 3, the month of March. Mm-hmm. And my dish is again, going to it, flashback, buttermilk fried lobster tail. I believe I had a parsnip puree and some sort of citrus butter thing going on there. I forget what it was, but some little acid to cut through the deep friedness, and maybe some asparagus. But the feature is the buttermilk fried lobster tail.
Love it. Well, listen, it's now 2014. You won in 27. Where are you at right now in your culinary career?
Well, right now I'm teaching at a nonprofit in D.C., D.C. Central Kitchen. I teach men and women who need a second chance at, getting back into the workforce. I teach them culinary arts so they can be positive contributors to society through food. So that's what I'm doing right now. Got some restaurant work on the horizon, but I'm really focused on that. I've been doing that for a couple of years, and I'm enjoying it.
Where can we find you, Rock? Website? I know on Twitter, Rock_Harper. It's at Rock_Harper. Is there a website?
No website right now, just Twitter and Instagram. Rock, ROCK_Harper, and Instagram, Rock Harper, ROCKHARPER.
Well, I got to tell you, I know you're on the East Coast and you're staying up late, and it is your 16th anniversary. Congratulations. You know, thank you for making this show better, because your insight is amazing, and we can't do it without you. And I'm really indebted. Whatever you need from us here to promote whatever you're doing, will you let us know, Rock?
I will, man. I appreciate you for doing what you do. You know, it really helps for you all doing this for the show. So thanks a lot for having me. I really appreciate it.
Before I kick you out of here, a lot of Hell's Kitchen hopefuls watch the Hell's Kitchen After Show. Got a piece of advice?
Be yourself, show up in person, and kick ass.
Rock Harper, the champion, Season 3. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful 4th of July holiday with you and your family.
You do, man. Peace and love.
All right. Take care, Rock. Thank you so much. All right. Well, again, that's how we do it. Check us out on iTunes. Check us out on YouTube. And by the way, if you love cooking, that's why you love this show. I have an interview with Jon Favreau, the writer, director, and star of the movie Chef, and I want you to check it out. It's cool. It's just, he's talking about food and creating this food movie. If you haven't seen Chef, best movie of the summer. You can watch it at Movie Interview, and you can check me out on Twitter at Movie Interview. Producer Ben, thank you so much. Thank you, Gordon Ramsay. Thank you, Hell's Kitchen fans. It's time for you to get out, piss off. We'll see you next week right here on the Hell's Kitchen After Show. See ya.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.